We're here at Wilson Farm. We're a stocker operator. We run about 700 stockers annually, consisting of about 4 loads of steers and 6 loads of heifers, something like that normally. We also run about 100 mama cows. We have a fall herd of about 30 and about 70 in our spring herd. And then also do some custom backgrounding for some people as needed, as they would want me to. So that pretty well sums up what we do. My goal's ultimately just to pass on the best quality animal I can to the next step in the chain of beef supply. I try to get these cattle in and get them weaned and get them on grass and provide something that's going to produce $1 for the next fella on down the road. And I think, as a stocker operator, that's your goal. And as a cow-calf operator, my goal is to raise a calf that I can put into my stocker herd, send on down and produce a quality calf for for me and for the next guy. I think that's what we're after. Yeah, we keep quite a few heifers because we're fortunate enough to have enough land here where I can spread them out. We don't have very many neighbors that adjoin certain portions of the farm, so I don't have to worry about bulls and things of that nature like most people do, with stocker heifers, worry about them getting bred from somewhere else. So I like to do that. Not as much upfront cost as buying a steer, and overall I think they do just about as well as the steers most of the time. A lot of those guys in the feed yards, I talk to them, most of them don't mind feeding the heifers as long as they're good quality. So that's kind of why I've steered towards that. It's a lot, it just seems to be a niche that I can feel. As far as securing the stocker cattle, I try to make as many local buys as I can, as far as just private treaty individual sales from people right here around, in the local area. But that's the minority of what I buy. But the majority of what I buy from the buying station in Glade. I work there on Wednesdays, so actually it's kind of convenient for me. I'm there anyway, so and a lot of good quality cattle come in there as well. I do and have bought some from the market through an order buyer. That works out good too, but I think for me it's just a convenience thing. There's just a good quality cattle that are coming through there that I can pick up, and I'm already there, so it works out well. When I buy my stocker cattle, I'm normally buying 5-weight calves. This year I bought a little a little lighter calves. They were around 450 to 550 is what I was buying this year. I pushed those through the winter just a little bit harder on grain and on pasture than I would have normally. I try to get them up there a little bit heavier since grain prices were down a little bit. And we tried to put, I think we put a little over 200 pounds on most of them this winter, which was a lot more than I normally do. But like I say, I pushed them a little harder. But after we come out of spring into spring turnout, they're just getting grass. They're here. That's what they're here for. So we're turning, like Phil Blevins says, that's our asset. We're turning that grass into something, more desirable product for somebody else. And that's the crop we're producing essentially. It just depends, if we like to shoot in the high twos, if we can. That's what we're shooting for. Of course, nothing's ideal ever, so that's what we hope. Of course, as far as animal identification, we always tag our calves individually. They all come in, they get a tag with a number. That just helps us as far as record keeping, health. If you've treated such and such calf twice or 3 times, or if it hadn't had anything at all, extra above and beyond our receiving protocols. And then too, about I guess this is the 2nd year now we've done it. We've started branding our cattle. It takes a little more time, but I just think as far as the value where cattle are at, I think it's a good thing to do, just so you know that there's no questions whether they're yours or not. All right. As far as the stocker health protocol goes, when we receive those calves, they come in, we give them Exceed on arrival, along with BovaShield Gold one shot, which has the Pastrel in it, along with the other modified live respiratory. Give them UltraBac 7, which is the blackleg 7-way clostridial, and we also give a mycoplasma vaccine along with a tag and an implant, and that pretty well sums that up. And then those cattle, that's our fall program when we receive them. And those cattle in the spring, when they come in off of pasture getting ready for turnout, we'll give them another round of just a BovaShield Gold respiratory vaccine, and then another implant and another round of the blackleg. But that's all they get at that point. And this year we did fly tags. Seemed to be working really well. The past several years, we had one really good year, it was about 1.5%, right at that, and then there was one year that was pretty bad. We were up near 4%, is the worst I've ever really experienced. We normally run about 2%. All right, our cows, we're giving them the BovaShield Gold, or BovaShield, it's a FP5VL. It's respiratory and Vibrio Lepto modified live vaccine that you can give once a year. We give that along with a blackleg and deworming. They get dewormed twice a year, and then those they get once a year. That pretty well, for the cows, that's pretty well what they're getting. Then the calves, when they're still suckling on the cows, we're giving them a killed vaccine, and along with a blackleg and a Synovex C implant. And then when we wean those calves, they'll get a modified live BovaShield Gold product, along with another round of blackleg and deworming at that point, and another implant, probably a Revlor G. Our veterinarian, we use quite a bit. She makes she makes recommendations on a lot of the drugs we use. As far as if we're having trouble with something, we'll ask her what do you think we should try next, or which direction should we head with this. As far as the cow calf goes, she's here every year, preg checking, of course. But as far as the stocker operation goes, other than consultation on, maybe which antibiotics working best or whatever, we pretty much handle the rest on our own. And she's there if we need to talk to her or ask her a question, but most of the time she knows if we call, there's a problem. We recently started, as far as genetics for our sires for our cow herd, we started using Balancer bulls. Just to get a little hybrid vigor in them, maybe a little more growth out of the calves. I've been well satisfied so far. We're probably 3 or 4 years into it, and the calves seem to be just a little better than they were before, using a straight Angus based breeding system. I went with the Gelbvieh Balancer bulls, Angus bait, together, just because of personal preference, really. Never have been much on a Simmental bull. I know there's some good ones out there, and don't really prefer the Limousine bulls either. So I figured that's my best way to go. And far as selecting for the bulls, I've been actually using some heavier birth weight bulls on my mature cows, and probably what some people would. But I've got the time to wash them, make sure, and really haven't been having that much calving difficulty anyway. I think maybe we pulled one calf this last year out of the 70. So, but as far as selecting for a heifer bull, still using Balancer bulls, but they are low birth weight, and try to get some cavities in there, something I'm not gonna have to worry about. So And as far as the cows go, I've got a little bit of everything, just about as commercial as you can get. If they'll raise me a calf that's good enough to go on to the next step, and for me to keep as a stocker calf, they'll stick around. As far as culling my cow herd, we look, of course, like everybody else, feet and legs, udders. We've got a couple cows that are getting ready to leave because their udders are getting broke down, getting to where I'm having to deal with them. Pretty much anything that takes my time, they're going to go on down the road. Been culling several cows just for disposition. I don't mind one that's going to protect a brand newborn baby, but anything that's going to take the whole herd off when I want to go get them, I don't put up with very much. As far as other culling decisions, after that, we just look mainly at calf size and what kind of calf they're raising. Once you get past those first few, first calf and get into that second calf, they better be raising something that I can keep. Yeah, when I preg check, if they're open, they go to town. Except for a first calf heifer, we'll give her a second shot. Most of the time, we'll put those in the fall herd, and that way we're not holding them over a whole nother year. They can go, get a little bit of that time I'm losing back. Not all of it, but it's better than keeping them over an entire year. So, but yeah, most of the time after that, if they're open, they're going to go to town. All right. As far as selection for the heifers, or replacement heifers, I'm selecting for size and femininity, but mainly structure, and try to pick the best heifers out of our cow herd that I can. Know who their mamas are, what they've done. That helps a lot. I know what genetics I put into them. As far as the genetic side of things goes. And then I've also bought some heifers from some people that I know have good cow herds, that are also keeping pretty good genetics. Here lately, I've been trying to keep heifers that with just a little bit more frame maybe than most people would like. Trying to get a little bit bigger cow in my cow herd. I think I've got just a little bit moderate. Maybe get some cows that are going to raise just a little bit bigger calf for me. And things of that nature. As far as breeding the heifers goes, the last couple of years we've been using an AI program, just lutealize and heat detection. I think next year we're going to try some cedars, and then of course using a bull for cleanup. What heifers we don't get serviced through AI. I really don't keep too many heifers for the fall herd. Most all our heifers will go into the spring herd, and then our fall herd has gotten developed more or less out of those those first calf heifers that haven't bred back. Like I said, we'll keep those over and put them in the fall herd. That'll be the last chance they get to stay around here, and that's pretty well how we've built that herd. I guess it's probably 6 years ago we kept a lot of heifers, and that's majority where that herd came from. Really just depends, but most of my cows are probably weighing somewhere between 1050 and 1200 probably at a mature size. Most of them probably hitting around 1100 average, I'd say, just guessing. I think the biggest challenge in the stocker cattle business is more or less the health of the cattle that you're receiving. The vaccination protocols before you receive those cattle, their health. Health's such a big issue. I don't think people realize, a lot of cow-calf producers don't realize, what happens to those calves when they get thrown in with a bunch of other cattle if they haven't had vaccines. And sometimes even if they have had, you can have your fair share of trouble even if you do vaccinate, but at least they're not naive to what's going on. And I think if we could get to the point where a lot more cow-calf producers were vaccinating, on the cows and too at weaning, and to even get those guys to wean those calves, it's a lot easier, a lot less stressful on those calves if they're weaned right where they were born and they know the environment, and it's not so much stress on them at once. I really think it'd be a big boost to the beef industry as a whole, and a lot, you know, I mean, the fewer cattle we lose as an industry as a whole, or the fewer, you know, that go out of the industry at that, you know, for that reason, I think it'd be a great benefit.